The strategies that we typically, tell creators is that, again, it's making sure that they have a strong story that is not actively selling the brand. It's more about the benefits and the values around the brand. So, for example, if it's a skincare brand, we typically, would want a creator focus on maybe how to treat hyperpigmentation, which is something that a lot of consumers of color typically deal with. And so it's really about like having a storytelling narrative that is about helping the consumer address a specific pain point as opposed to pushing a product, and then seamlessly maybe integrating the product into the narrative. But it's really about a very effective storytelling tips, tricks, tutorials that are integrated into the consumer's daily life, where they needed to address a specific pain point, where they needed to think about how to improve themselves in a specific angle of their lives. Maybe it's something like workwear tips, for example. It's not meant to be just about me as a brand, but it's like it's the end user, like how are you benefiting them. So it's looking at that we always speak with the creators to make sure that you are actually adding specific value to your target audience when you're creating this kind of content. And also, as I mentioned, I think it's very, very important to be able to have storytelling narratives that are have a very strong relationship with the specific target intended audience. So, like I mentioned, we don't always have to have these really big high value productions. As mentioned, I think it's important to be able to have a dynamic relationship with your target audience by adding, like I said, tips and tricks, but also, like I said, first person narratives, very organic storytelling, like you're speaking with a friend, and making sure there's that form of that bond. And then lastly, the consistency side of things as well. Consistency, I think, is very important in your storytelling. A lot of consumers and brands, you're building a relationship. When you're dropping off people, there isn't a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust. There's a lack of engagement and relationship building when there's a lack of consistency. So we always ask, having brands that creators that make sure that they not only align with the target audience and as well as the target brand, but also have a consistent form of engagement in their storytelling narratives.